our best. The strategy is that it is one of the top teams, and we will only meet them if everything goes like perfect from our side and from their side only in finals. We should not do mistakes and play our best.
The ward goes down, so they won't get the invade up top, but that's huge vision for Alex. They're going to be able to inform their team about that right away.
So let's see what happens here, right? So the ward goes down, it's been pinged, and really both of these teams are setting up pretty safely on the map. You can see them kind of standing around an early ward there from Invictus, looking for an early invade from M5. But overall, they're just looking and kind of being very, very watchful of invades. No one's grouping up to make any major moves. Now a minute in, that's when you would see a team probably group up they wanted for an invade. And look at that, with Shen up towards the top, everyone else from IG is actually grouping up near the bottom half of the map. They're moving in down towards this brush. Oh, and another ward comes down. They definitely want to put a bit of pressure down here and really spot out what might be happening. They're warding a lot. They're really looking for invades. They kind of went down actually as safety in numbers. I think actually just to put the ward down safely. Looks like Invictus really don't want to go for any kind of a cheeky push, so they're pretty safe. And wow, Alex Each is actually in that brush that was used earlier in that first game against Frost that they kind of jumped over to. So he definitely did his research as well.
Yeah, everybody has been watching. We see that Xiao Xiao taking out 6 wards and the potion for himself, so he's really trying to get this early game for his team and not allow them to open that early aggression up. 2 minutes up here. It looks like they may do a switch or just a hard pull for Shen here and teleport down to that bottom lane. However, it looks like they're going to stay. Kid is heading towards that tri-bush, so they do have the swap coming out, and we're going to have Yorick with a blue buff against Kog'Maw and the support Zyra bottom.
And this is a strategy they've tried multiple times, and it has always worked. Now, if you look back to the EU regionals, Kevin actually screwed up this pull, but I think PDD is going to be okay here. Is tanking it up, dealing as much damage as possible. Now, he didn't run teleport, though, so he's going to take a little bit of wasted time as he gets himself back into the lane, stuck in a 1-on-2.
There's the roam. The flashes go off, and the Zenith Blade just missing by a hair. A very early gank coming from Invictus.
This is really strong overall from Invictus, though. That okay, the gank didn't really work so well, but that's not the worst thing in the world. What they've got, though, is a really strong 2-on-1 and 1-on-2 lane here. Kid and Xiao Xiao should be able to completely shut down Darien. Xin Zhao does not have tools. He hasn't even learned his first skill yet because he doesn't even know what kind of fight he's going to get into. But he's going to have a very tough time in this top lane. Whereas York with the Golem buff, really not the end of the world. Now, it does mean that Genja gets a completely free lane, so they're not going to be able to shut down Kog'Maw. You know, Ezreal and Leona together should be able to put a lot of damage off onto a lane like that. But even still, shutting down Darien is just as important as shutting down Genja, and they're going to be able to do this here.
Looks like Darien now still playing aggressive without that flash up top, and they do see that in the jungle. However, here is the counter gank, that point to victory that they need to work on, and they're going to get it right here, but it's a 3v2. There's a lot of crowd control to come in, and they see Darien coming from the backside. So much damage on the Moscow 5. First blood going to Illusion with the assists to the AD and support.
That was actually pretty unfortunate there, right as Diamond showed up. I think he expected Illusion to be nearby. He was waiting in the background, really timing that. But the thing is, once he's safeguarded over, they just both got hit by Shadow Dash. He was really unable to counterattack the entire time and wasn't able to force Kid to stop swinging. So a lot of damage coming out there. And Illusion, yeah, that first blood really good. Now M5 are making some moves themselves, but you've got to realize that they're actually pushing very hard onto PDD and that bottom turret. Genja no longer with turret aggro, should be able to put out a lot of damage. He's actually swinging for minions instead of the turret, though. It looks like M5 actually not trying for an early turret kill. This actually plays actually a turret dive
super
again.
Pushing top lane. The full minion wave is there, but Leona took too much damage off the bat. I don't think they're going to be able to continue with this.
Nice move up by Darien, though. He bought a lot of time, and oh, wow. He got an early red elixir there as well, so he can spike his health back up just in case something tricky happens to him.
Again, PDD being pushed out bottom with that blue buff. He's able to help himself. They are 700 gold in the lead from that first blood, and the assists tagged onto that. Illusion returning to his jungle. He has not gone back to buy yet, but he does have a good amount of money under his belt. Right now, the most in the game, 927 gold to himself as the jungler. That's really going to help his presence in lane once he goes through these camps, and then he's really just going to be able to forget about the camps for a little bit and use that time to help out the lanes a lot more.
Yeah, I do expect to see these junglers ganking very constantly throughout this game. This plays really to their overall play style. York, though, kind of going back into the jungle, though, kind of unsafe in his lane. I don't know if he spotty sensed Diamond being around, but he did retreat. His mid lane actually is pretty difficult for Alex East. This is really what happens, though. You know, like I said, the Cassiopeia, a bit of a counter pick, diving into the turret. Ignite is on as well. This could be enough. It is. Z-Type picking up the second kill of the match. And like I said, that lane is a bit of a mismatch there. That Cassiopeia was grabbed, I'm pretty sure, as a counter pick to Evelynn, knowing that melee champions have a very tough time dealing with Cassiopeia.
Initiation onto Darien top once again to force him out of lane. No kill there, but he is having such a hard time. Top 12 to PDD's 22, and he's forced to buy that red elixir. The gold just going to situational events that haven't even happened yet.
And Illusion is flanking around from the jungle as well. Diamond, once again, he's ready for it. Look at that foresight, and he finds Illusion there coming in on the turret.
Here's that counter gank. Once again, a beautiful shot. Leona getting herself out of range of the turret, but Kid is under it. Good micro back and forth, and Diamond is forced out once again.
But that was really the move they needed to make, though. Yeah, Diamond took some damage, but it was going to be a 3-on-1 at the turret otherwise. Now, maybe if he didn't get spotted, they could try to force something and let the turret fight the entire time, but even still, not letting those turret dives work against Darien is really advantageous because the minion wave is pushing down a little bit. Darien is going to get a bit more time to farm. He's finally at 16 minions, which isn't the end of the world, though obviously not exactly optimal. He's still going to get to scale up through this game. And one thankful thing about Xin Zhao is that he does scale great with levels, and the fact that he's not getting completely forced out of lane means he will still gain experience and eventually catch up in this game, even if he doesn't quite get a lot of items.
Looks like Lee Sin's Diamond procs. He's going to be going, pushing mid a little bit. He's going to be going for that Wriggles. They're a little objective focused here, trying to get that armor in. As he sees, there's just so much damage coming from top lane, and that's where he's going to have to help. He does not need to work with bottom lane right now. That Zyra Kog'Maw can push very well. Top lane still pushing. They're almost equal on bottom and top here, just 75% of that push. Kid and Xiao Xiao just looking to go back here. Let's see how much money they have under their belt. It is going to be 1,500 gold right now for Kid. We'll see what he gets. He can get a really good burst of damage coming out of that after his buy.
It's likely that he's going to go for Trinity Force, especially that Phage early on. It's one of those items you pick up to try to shut down a lane when you're kind of ahead a little bit, because those extra slows coming out from the item will really help you pick down an opponent. Diamond making his second rotation through the jungle just now, and that's going to be matched, of course, by PDD running off for the golem buff as well. But as they clear out the jungle camps here and try to get their buffs back, expect the junglers to re-aggress here. Diamond with a fresh blizzard buff, Illusion the same for himself. You're going to see them make their ways back to the side lanes for more damage.
Shen once again picking up his red. We'll probably see Illusion top, but the warding now quite heavy. They're going to go down in about 30 seconds in that top lane, so he may be able to walk past those after they go down. They know that Alex is kind of wandering around here, and they start to look very cautiously. They're only going to see him when he gets slightly in range, and we can also see Kid and Xiao Xiao trying to make a move to help out there.
Yeah, so Alex is going for the golem buff right here. He's getting that golem buff for himself finally. That will allow him to finally start pushing the minion wave out. And now that Evelynn has finally leveled up a bit, she's got rank 4 in Hate Strike. This will, or Hate Spike rather. This will allow her to shove the minions around and then finally start roaming. You really want to hit level 6 first before you ever make these moves as Eve. That gives you all the burst damage you want. But you can see Alex now being pushed down to his turret. He's going to have to just try to last hit here pretty successfully, actually, under the turret. Get his gold back up. He's still, though, getting zoned by Cassiopeia. Look at that. She denied all 3 ranged minions by saying, if you walk up to this, you're going to take way too much burst. Would be in range for Petrifying Gaze. Alex knew this and had to completely back off and miss minion kills. This lane matchup still very, very difficult. Genja, though, still in that 2-on-1 is not taking any pressure. You can see 69 minions on him, getting a lot of farm, completely ahead of Kid's Ezreal here. It's going to be the Genja show this game because no one else is having a great game yet on Moscow 5.
Oh, coming into the bush, Evelynn goes right onto Zatai. Alex, he's forced to run out of that one, but you saw him do half Health Freak, and with that amount of damage, looks like they're going to try to pressure the dragon here. True Shot Barrage coming down right through. Diamond Prox quickly gets the dragon, safeguards to a ward, and keeps himself alive. Beautifully played there. 9 minutes and 20 seconds in the game. Now, Freak, we see this matchup between Evelynn and Cassiopeia in mid, where Evelynn just taking so much damage every engage. But is there a point in the game where that's going to turn the tide and she's just going to be able to outburst Cassiopeia?
It's going to depend a lot on gold. Typically, though, Evelynn, yes, is a great burst assassin, and really, I would consider assassins to be one of the banes of Cassiopeia, is that, you know, she will try to itemize some durability, but still does not have any major escape tools, you know, compared to something like Ahri or Gragas who can disengage very safely. So Cassiopeia will be subject to a lot of pressure as mid-game rolls around. But like I said, Cassiopeia likes to buy a little bit of durability. Rod of Ages and Abyssal Scepter are likely purchases here, and so you'll see her get a little bit more safe. The Chalice really, the first item she's grabbed out, is going to give her some magic resist. That's the type of stat she needs to survive fighting Evelynn. Now Alex, I think he's going to start his roam game. No, actually, he's just going to recall. I'm wrong. His ultimate, though, up in 20 seconds. Whenever that's up, he wants to try to make a move with that. And actually, he might make a move with Diamond here.
They do close in on Diamond. He goes for the Asthma, and he comes around the corner, playing that Fog of War to his advantage. A great flash by Zatai as he puts himself quite distance from both Alex and Diamond. Doesn't get himself off any of those wraiths as they were gone. He almost found himself in trouble. 10 minutes into the game, Invictus Gaming with about 1,000, just under 1,000 gold lead, I should say. And there's been a lot of aggression that's kind of stopped. They really haven't seen too much lately.
They haven't tower dove really in a long time, and I'm kind of surprised at that because they have Illusion, who's going to be so very tanky and can really set up his team for successful tower dives by giving someone a shield. And really that's going to be always a really good case here for Invictus because when you just compare junglers, Lee Sin to Shen, one of these guys is so much better at diving turrets because one of these guys is a global ultimate and can react to those kind of situations. I don't expect to see actually Moscow 5 go for any dives themselves because of that Shen, because of that Stand United, but I do really expect Invictus to go for something here. I don't think their late game is going to be all that wonderful because they have to deal with a completely safe farming Kog'Maw. He's now got 86. He's the highest on his team. Sure, Cassiopeia's a bit richer thanks to that gold, but it's still really scary though. Kog'Maw's going to keep scaling.
Evelynn just on the backside of Darian. Alex East throws off the ultimate. Xiao Xiao tries to do Solar Flare. They keep to continue to chase onto Darian, but Diamond Procs come in to try to save the fight. Beautiful chase by Alex East, and now it's just Kid and Illusion to run. They are just trying to get back to the turret. The pursuit is on. Nobody is really out coming to this fight. Zatai is trying to make his way up river through Baron. Illusion goes down, but Zatai will not make it in time. Kid does make it out alive. 2-2 is the score now.
Really nice job. That is exactly the kind of gameplay that M5 BenQ wanted there, was putting their jungler and their mid lane together and getting Alex Ish to roam. He does like to put that pressure on. He is a roaming mid laner, and that is the kind of move he needs to make over and over to get his lanes back in. Darian with an assist and finally some pressure relief so he can last hit some minions is going to really help him. He's going to be one of those big frontline champions. And when you look at M5's lineup, they've got double bruiser and no major tank. So between Lee Sin and Xin Zhao, they could get melted by Kid's Ezreal. If you don't buy any major durability items, an AD carry will completely outscale you and really, really ruin your day. So M5 either needs to rely on their bruisers getting farmed enough to become tanks based on levels and sort of minor tanky items, or to get farmed enough that they can one-shot Ezreal in a burst combo and not deal with it at all. But M5's going to need one of those two avenues to be able to deal with Kid.
True Shot Barrage coming out, just trying to push down the lane as it looks like they're going to try and get it back here. Looking at Ezreal's pockets, he does have 1,000 gold there in assist under his belt, but it's going to be to 107 minions on Kog'Maw. He was trying to finish a little bit of attack speed first. Looks like he could go for Zeal, throwing out that Brawler's Glove right away.
Yeah, it's basically the build you see on Kog'Maw is that, where a lot of attack... It's actually really interesting, though. These attack damage carries scale off of different items. So someone like Graves or Caitlyn or Ashe is going to deal mostly with basic attacks or even base ability damages will go for like an Infinity Edge or a Bloodthirster. Something like Kog'Maw is actually more worried about that Bioarcane Barrage, that second ability that grants him bonus range and makes him deal a percentage of his target's max health as bonus damage. So he scales really, really hard with attack speed. He just wants to put more attacks down. That ability will scale for itself, so he'll rush something like Phantom Dancer to grant him that attack speed, and then continue on with things like Infinity Edge and Last Whisper, and then transition to a more standard AD carry. Meanwhile, you're seeing Ezreal, who actually has his own unique skill set, where he actually is able to apply abilities very often, and so buying a Trinity Force or Sheen, the Sheen he has right now, means that every ability he casts, he's going to deal bonus damage the next attack, and he's going to be able to keep triggering that with Mystic Shot and keep that source of bonus damage. So these different items working in different ways with these champions based on what their abilities are. It's just kind of cool to see that they're going to have differing builds, and it just means that their playstyles are always going to differ here in fights.
We see Diamond moving down towards the bottom bushes, and it looks like he may try to get that forward ward bush push, or a forward bush push down on the bottom lane, but he just heads towards top. Goes for his golems. You see Kid going back for the golems as well as they push that lane out. He doesn't feel safe. Leona did go back. The support's just grabbing up gold generation items right now. Damage mitigation in the magic resistance department down there for Zyra. Gosu knows he needs to be a little bit more aggressive on the support, so he's going to try to get into the fight more and make himself tanky as well. Support's usually helping out with those area of effect abilities for their teams. But we're going to see, like you said, Freak, a complete kill team. These guys are going to scale very hard, and in that aspect, who do you see having this late game?
The late game, I still think it might be the Kog'Maw story. I just overall like M5's lineup because they've got the burst damage to deal with Ezreal. Even though they can clone it, I still think it's pretty strong. They can kind of run in, one-shot someone, and then try to disengage, and then fight a 5-on-4 afterwards. And the entire time they're backed off, they're backed up by what I think is going to be a very, very safe Kog'Maw. I don't see the answer for Genja here. He's going to keep scaling, and that really is the ultimate reason why I like M5 BenQ's late game.
So we see 0 turrets down across the map. Dragon being done once again. It goes again as well to Moscow 5 BenQ. Diamond Prox being very good with the timer on that, but the engage happens. Solar Flare goes out. Gosu Pepper goes down, but he gets his ultimate off. So that's going to help out a little bit for these guys as they push down. Moscow 5 just melting under the pressure right now. Too much damage is coming out. Diamond Prox being chased. Genja cannot get under the turret. They will probably get both of them. It looks like Genja just got far enough away, but the chase is too strong from Kid. Nobody goes down for Invictus.
They're going to keep this going. They're going to come into some more pressure. That Yorick clone just tanking the turret. PDD's ghouls have to tank it for a short time, but now the backdoor bonus is there. They're going to pull back a little bit. And just look at all those kills they've picked up. That mid-game team fight so very, very strong. Alex Ish really got caught unaware, did not get to use his ultimate or his Deathfire Grasp. So one of those core tenets of that M5 BenQ lineup, the burst damage to kill someone off right away, was completely not there in that fight. Darien, the same, never got to use Crescent Slash. They just do not have, they didn't use all their tools that game. Whereas IG, you saw the Petrifying Gaze from the back, slowing down the opposition. The flash taunt coming in from Illusion to lock up those champions there. That's really how that fight happened. Was their ultimates got used, their summoners got used. They got all the damage output here. Alex didn't even get to flash or ignite, just again completely locked up there. That's going to be a major difficulty. This mid game so very good because if you can't cast your abilities, your burst damage is gone. And Genja here on Kog'Maw is not yet that scary.
Cassiopeia's versatility, you saw Petrifying Gaze there slowing everybody in the fight to continue capitalizing on kills. It was 2-2 as they picked up 4 in that last fight. 22,000 gold as they still keep a bit of a lead here. Alex Ish returning to mid lane, making sure nobody is in the wings to take him out as Zitai will see him within that range. Diamond Prox coming towards middle here. Looks like he could try to safeguard up and get to this fight. The Deathfire Grasp goes off. Coming from behind, he could land the Q here. No, he goes for the safeguard first. The Q will hit a minion, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. And that was them getting a little bit too tricky for themselves. They knew Cassiopeia had Petrifying Gaze up. You kept seeing them like go in, then turn around, and he was like, nah, you're just going to juke yourselves. I'll just run away. Thanks. Yeah, that unfortunate Resonating Strike was, sorry, the Sonic Wave really was pretty unfortunate there. But even still, I just like the cute moves there.
Zenith over the wall, True Shot Barrage, but Kid, they're focusing Gosu. It's just going to leave Genja to throw out all the damage. He is more than happy to do that. Going down into the red buff as well. Diamond Prox looks like he could have a takedown on PDD here with the help of Darien. They will focus down. Yorick ulti is up again. They're able to chase one out, but it looks like they will pick up the kill there as well. And they go 1 for 1 across the map.
Oh, again, the pressure on the top lane, though. Jojo going to get crushed down. Nice gank by Alex Ish, making that one happen. That's the kind of gameplay, again, that M5 BenQ needs. And the cool thing as well is, again, Alex Ish is against the Cassiopeia in the mid lane. So as long as he makes one good move and is able to dodge the Petrifying Gaze ultimate, they can just gank from within the lane. He can happily just run in, Deathfire Grasp into ultimate, let Diamond just show up as well. And as long as he actually lands the Sonic Wave, he's going to be really, really good here.
Yeah, Alex not having fun in the early part of this game, as we mentioned, being flashed, ignited, and hit under his turret, Cassiopeia Poison and Ignite, taking him out, very roughed out of lane. So he's making this work for himself. He's controlling the ganks, going all the way around the lanes. You can see the pink ward in lane actually is Zitai, just does not want any trouble from Alex Ish.
And that's really true. That's going to be how Cassiopeia will play this matchup, is shove the minion wave, you know, kind of watch where Alex is going. If he thinks aggression might happen, he's going to turn around and back right out. You saw him put a Vision Ward down in that mid lane because he wanted to make sure he could see if Alex would push on through. Now Invictus, knowing they have a gold advantage, are actually shoving in for turrets. This is exactly what they want to do. They know they're ahead. They need to push some objectives and really make this mid-game their own.
They're really timing all these waves perfectly. Getting to the tower as soon as they're getting a wave. There's no stalemate time to give Moscow 5 BenQ their time to transfer over to mid. So they continuously get turret damage down without really taking any themselves.
And this is just, again, just going to be their gameplay. With Cassiopeia, they've got wave clearing. With Shen, he can split push and teleport back to a team. This is really exactly what IG needs to do to win this game, is split up just a little bit, send Shen off to the side, and just apply pressure to the outside of the opponent's base. Now, they've gotten one turret so far, but they're going to go for that number 2. Shen, of course, going for that third up top. This is working perfectly for IG.
And here we go, the attack comes in, Petrifying Gaze, Solar Flare goes down, Zatai drops one as well, but Alex East will find Zatai in the fight. A lot of that carry damage has gone down, and they continue to just go for Gosu Pepper. Darian falls as well. Finally, we lose Xiao Xiao, and IET starts to lose members of their team. PDD, the last one to go. A double kill coming up for Kid, and they finally take down onto Kog'Maw. It is going to be Illusion coming in a little late there.
But Alex Ish making that turnaround, got himself a triple kill as Evelyn. That's going to be a huge deal overall. And that's, a difficulty there is Illusion, trying to show up at the end there, not putting out too much overall. And it was basically saying, hey guys, you can only focus so many champions. Because they have Yorick and Shen who aren't huge damage dealers, all that pain is going to come out in burst. First of all, and then as far as persistent damage goes, it's just Cassiopeia and just Ezreal. And they were focused on killing Gosu Pepper, killing Genja, killing Diamond, and killing Darian, and Alex was left alone to fight the entire time. Let's take a look at a replay of that last fight, because it was neck and neck 4-4 when we see just what happened. So the initiation comes off, Cassiopeia with a lot of poke, and they're going to try to get the initiation. You're going to see there's the jump. They go immediately, but look at that perfect Petrifying Gaze. The burst just everywhere. Look at all the damage being dealt. But then Ezreal just chases down under the turret, dealing as much damage back there. Alex Ish is safe the entire time to kill whomever he wants and picks up kill after kill.
Now as they move to Dragon here, as we're back to live, looks like Invictus may be able to take their first Dragon here. They have been 3. Diamond Prox waiting on the wing to get in there and smite this out. Who will be able to grab their Diamond? Diamond Prox grabs it out! Can they win the fight? They lost a lot of HP on the focus there. Alex Ish on a rampage as he drops PDD, and it looks like they will be able to melt a few members here of Invictus Gaming. Diamond is still alive somehow. Puts on the shield. Can they get these last 2 with a sliver of health and an ace and the Dragon Steal when they lose 3?
That is M5 making the team fights happen. When you just look at that coordination, despite not really having most of their ultimates back there, it just did not quite matter. Gosu Pepper dropped, unable to cast Strangle Thorns due to the cooldown, even though the Solar Flare was up, that shorter cooldown, pretty useful when you fight all the time, but even still, it did not matter. They instantly dropped down PDD's Yorick. Yeah, he got to put that ghoul out, but just not quite as strong overall. Great overall play here. M5 really putting themselves in a great place now. Finally picking up their own turret kill. Now 3-0 on Dragons. That is the only reason they have this gold lead here. It's 14-14 with a turret deficit and a lot of minions on a lot of champions. But they've got that Dragon pressure, that objective right there, really keeping M5 in this.
Freak, this is such a crazy game. 1-1, 2-2, 6-2, 14-14, handfuls of kills at a time. We're not really even seeing turret dives anymore. These are full-on team fights from 15 minutes on, and these teams are just racking up the kills. Some in favor of Invictus. Now an ace coming in for Moscow 5 NQ, but 3 of their members going down. Yes, they continue to get Dragon, and that is going to help them, but these fights have really not been absolutely definitive. That was an ace, but Alex East was just really unfocused the entire time, so it could go completely different if that happens with him going down first.
Well, the good thing for him, though, is he's about to not go down first anymore. M5, Team Guardian Angel, is about to be in effect. You can see a lot of items coming through. Xin Zhao's got the Null Magic Mantle and the Cloth Armor. Null Magic Mantle and Cloth Armor are here on Lee Sin. Chain Vest and Null Magic Mantle here onto Evelyn, and you're even seeing Zyra. That's actually probably an Aegis in that case, but you're going to see a lot of durability on most of that front line here. It's about to be 8 life M5 here, and that's going to be very difficult to burst through for Invictus Gaming.
Diamond seeing one, they make it antsy here. They find Kid, but they're going for Xiao Xiao. A lot of damage onto Leona. She throws down her shield. Looks like she could go down. Trying to Zenith Blade out. Solar Flare. She helps her team continue to get there. A great ultimate by Gosu keeps them from really getting into the fight, and they don't have vision past that bush. The ward in the bush for Moscow 5 NQ playing huge dividends here. Now they're just kind of messing around with the raid camp. Diamond says, I can't hit anybody. I'm still going to get experience in the situation. Alex East from behind flashes out to take some cooldowns, and here comes Darian, just trying to man mode the entire team. He does get taken down finally, but it is Moscow 5 still in this fight, pursuing kills. Zatai coming up very big with a triple kill now. Zatai finding it, but he is going to go down to Genja. Now it's Gosu Pepper on the chase. Kid will pursue. If his shift is up, he will find this kill. The arcane shift hits. He does not. Yes, he does find the last hit required. 19 to 17. 5 kills for one, 3 for the other. Like I said, just in handfuls.
And this is just going back and forth over and over again. It looked like M5 got a little bit greedy there. They got that free kill onto Leona, which was nice, opening up a 5-on-4. But the problem is, the fights really depend on how good is Petrifying Gaze going to be. That's really turning these battles. Her ultimate is so feast or famine. If she stuns multiple targets, you're going to see M5 drop off really, really fast. And look at that build. It's so aggressive. Went Sorcerer's Shoes, got the Abyssal, but then went for a Death Cap. You see sometimes these Cassiopeia players will go for Spell Vamp, they'll go for some durability, Rod of Ages. Not the case, it's all damage output all the time. Let's see that last fight go down. It was so close. Who's the big player? Let's find out right now. We see the opening goes on, they jump on a Kid, but the thing is Darien not that far, doesn't really shut Kid down, he's able to put out a lot of damage. There's the fight in the middle, and Genja really caught out here, out of position, down below half health, and burning his summoner heal. The flash coming out from Ghost Pepper as well. Now check out the next big play. A little bit of harass comes down. There comes Alex Each. The first is on. Again, Darien in the middle of it all. Not a big deal though. And Kid is left alone to put out damage the entire time here. Kid completely safe. There's the ult from Zatai. Burst damage. Kendrick goes down. Alex tries to come back in, but he's unhealthy there. Look at that. Kid just turns around and destroys him. The AD carry still alive. And that's what happens if you don't kill Kid or you don't kill Genja. That's how those fights turn around. An easy chase there for Kid. You've got to kill the AD carry first. You've got to. You cannot waste your cooldowns on anyone else.
Invictus Gaming has not really pushed too much off of these fights, Reek. We've seen this happen before. You need to start capitalizing on things. That top turret was very nicely prepped for them to be taken down throughout the entire lane, and they're able to capitalize on that. So inching by these fights, they are going back and forth. We did see the ace there, but they still need to be picking up more. They didn't find the last dragon, so they need to capitalize very hard off of every fight they win.
Well, as long as they can capitalize off of turrets, that's going to be fine. The difficulty, though, is it's now only 3-2, and it's going to be a bit harder for Invictus because these outer turrets are all gone, and they're not doing the best job of timing Dragon. They've not been picking them up. Yeah, okay, they made an attempt for that third one. Of course, it did get stolen. They need to keep the pressure on these objectives and really turn these fights into something special. Because as we've seen this game, the fights are going back and forth. The gold basically equal. The fights are really determined by Zatai's ultimate and how coordinated the teams are, if anyone gets caught, if anyone lands skill shots or not. So, you know, the only way to cement yourself into the lead is actually by making some really big moves and snowballing yourselves ahead so that your gold can cover any mistakes you might make.
You know,
no, go for it.
No, you freak. You said that this game is so close, and I think statistically close throughout the entire tournament. At 28 minutes in the game, this is the closest we've had the gold and the kills. This game is still anybody's matchup.
The fight's about to start again. Initiation comes in from Darien.
Good job, Kid. Almost. Oh, he does get taken down. He doesn't even get a chance to attack. Zatai falling to Moscow 5, then Q. Alex Each coming up very big, but it's Diamond Prox with the double kill. The chase onto PDD is just too strong, and this completely spells Baron at 29 minutes for Moscow 5, then Q.
That M5 initiation combo, man, it worked this time. They completely eviscerated Kid's Ezreal, and there was no damage left to support the team the rest of the way through. M5 with complete map control. Illusion's not even going to try to steal away Baron Nashor. There's that objective you want to get after winning a team fight. M5 finally winning a battle convincingly enough they could move on and get something else. They've finally got themselves a bit of a gold lead. They've got map control. Expect to see at least a turret fall down pretty soon. Impeccable timing, though, on Dragon means they're going to go for that one first, but they still do have time, and Baron buff, really, over these next 3.5 minutes to push down another turret and kind of put that advantage back in their favor as well.
The fourth Dragon of the game, just adding to the pockets of Moscow 5, Ben Q. The richest person in the game right now is going to be Genja on Kog'Maw, but right behind him by 100 gold. They're both at 11,000, 10,000 right now for Zatai, so you can just see how far ahead they are. These guys really banking it for themselves, and the kills going across the board for them. 8 kills for Genja, 8 kills for Alex Ish. They almost have the same exact score. 4 kills coming in for Diamond Prox as well. Darien had a very hard game top, but he's got 14 assists, so he is participating in every fight still.
This is really smart, though, for Darien, as he went like pretty much a full tank build, knowing that not only is he kind of one of the major frontline forces here, and realizing that, again, it's double bruiser, you don't have like an Alistair or a Shen to play the main tank, so someone needs to man up and just be a beefy wall in front, and that guy is Darien here, and thankfully, you know, tank items are pretty efficient there, so he kind of just bought up some durability and was like, you know what, I don't have a lot of damage output necessarily, but I am going to be a really big factor in this game regardless. I have initiation, I have base damages, I have crowd control. You know, come at me, bro. Kid, you're going to be dying a lot in these fights.
Now, Freak, Zin's build going to be tanking anyways during that top lane phase, but if he would have had an easier lane, would there be more damage in his build, or did he build accordingly for that?
There'd be a little bit more just because he'd be a little bit higher level. He'd have more gold to spend overall on items. I think he still needed to realize that someone has to play the role of tank,
right.
and because you've got a more consistent sort of source of gold being a top laner, that it's a little bit easier to build your top laner as the tank. If you know, because again, neither of them are dedicated tanks by their own right. They've got to cover that with items, and the best way to cover that with items is to have the gold to spend and actually buy those pieces of equipment. So Darien really performing that role. I think from Champions League they knew that was his role, but thankfully, you know, his fates have finally turned around a little bit. They're actually doing a better job in fights. He's getting the gold to supply these items. If Darien had kept getting shut down, if none of these fights went well for M5, he would be so squishy this game.
We see Invictus Gaming in their own jungle now. Looks like they're trying to head towards top, just going where they saw the last vision of Moscow 5. With that Baron and Dragon down, it's really all up to just that fog of war fight. Who's going to catch who off guard? Right now, Invictus only has the defensive wards. All the wards for Moscow 5 NQ are offensive. Behind Baron, in Invictus's Tribush, as well as one just went down at Raids, but they're in the bottom of the map as well. So trying to give themselves that advantage here. 30 minutes into the game, they've broken that score. They've broken that close gold. It's now 49,000 to 44,000, and the turrets are even. Moscow 5, we're now seeing Diamond and Darien staying together in a little bit of a pushing crew here. We'll see how this affects the split push.
Well, it's going to be, I don't really care, really. M5 can just keep pushing on forward. There's a little bit of wave clearing from Cassiopeia. It will make it a little bit difficult, but even still, M5 is the dive crew. They can just go in on a turret and probably come out in pretty good shape. Now, it's only a 4,000 gold difference, but it's still going to be a 5-on-4 to start. They'll get the shield from Illusion. That's pretty strong, but that doesn't mean everything. They can still get a bunch of kills before he's there to lend crowd control. It's a 3-second channel, that teleport. So in the first 3 seconds, if they kill everyone else on the lineup, it doesn't matter if he shows up.
Going right under the turret, there's the dive in, trying to blow some cooldowns. They blow Stand United. Alex East in the back. He's able to drop Satai and flash out of that one alive. The Gosu ultimate is going to knock all of them up, and there's just way too much crowd control for them to answer back. Moscow 5 wiping them out. 2 left for Invictus Gaming. Illusion may go down under the turret. Kid is forced to just keep distance right now. He makes it onto the fountain, but Kid gets doped. Oh, Darien goes down from the fountain laser, and it looks like they are forced out, Freak, but inhibitor turrets are going to get the damage in before they make it.
Yeah, they're going to get hurt a little bit, but it's still a 4 versus 2. Darien channeling his Ender Mach Noon, diving at the base turret right there. And they would have liked to have that, but it's going to be GG anyway. Congratulations, M5 winning Game 1 of the quarterfinals. Invictus needs to find something to come back for Game 2.
Moscow 5 a little on the heels in the beginning, but they just played their game. They continued to gank over and over. Diamond Prox definitely countered the ganks beautifully. He was always top when you saw Illusion there.
And that's really what it takes, though. You've got to be aggressive as that team and reactive at the same time. That relying on counter ganks was so impeccable there. And Invictus knew that top lane was like a free win if they could get those ganks going. They knew they could kill Darien. They knew they could set up for that. And, you know, they forced his flash very early on. They put a lot of pressure on that top lane. They kept pulling Illusion over there to deal with him. And I think that was the right play. It's hard to gank for Yorick. It's a little bit hard to gank for Cassiopeia because Alex was playing very safe in the background, and so it made a lot of sense that they would combo in onto Leona and try to put a lot of pressure down there and deal some damage. So I think their gank choices from Invictus made sense, but the reactions from Moscow 5 were perfect. I think they read the team and realized, well, of course they're gonna camp Xin Zhao. He's got no natural escapes.